Welcome, welcome, and welcome. Boy, DJ Vision. All right, we about to get it started. Got a shout out to sponsors, and then we're going to get into what we got going for today. Get it. So, this is definitely one of my proud sponsors. Um, like, follow, share, and subscribe to your boy. And also, promo code from your boy, get a 15% off type vision. 15% off type vision. Promo code vision. Appreciate y'all for coming in for this one. And we're gonna go to my second sponsor, which is, and I appreciate everybody for coming on, like, follow, share, and sub. Your boy, DJ Vision. And, right. So also a good shout out to another sponsor, Romantic Gold Links. Go check them out. Here we go. Romantic Gold Links. That big cartel. That big cartel. And they have shower gels, etc. on the women's spectrum, the feminine spectrum. Promote all things. I definitely promote all things that are positive our community and can help us grow. Get y'all like, follow, share, and subscribe. Again, like, follow, share, and subscribe. All right, about to get into that. One thing I did want to share was definitely information about one of my sponsors, the Sea Moss. I don't just promote things and don't know what I'm promoting. Seriously. So let me go ahead and share this out to a few people. Let's get some people up on here. Okay. Because it's definitely, it's definitely some benefits that I need to have with me, and it hits home with me. I got scoliosis. I got a crooked spine, subluxar disc. I'm just able to brush it off because I do know some wholesome things that you could go to as far as no kind of pharmaceuticals to uplift your body in the most natural way, especially just having putting a whole bunch of of greens and certain kinds of greens, certain kinds of herbs, certain kinds of vegetables. Just natural. You know what I'm saying? But we are gonna get this started. Go ahead and share this with a few people, especially all my sponsors. I need everybody on here paying attention and tuned in. You know, appreciate y'all for checking in, like, follow, shit, and subscribe to your boy, DJ Rich. You know, if you hear say something, check in. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're here. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all for checking in. Appreciate y'all for checking in. Really do. And definitely gonna keep this thing rolling. I'm getting a few more people up on here, sharing this, getting everybody up on here. Hit the like button, like button, like button. Appreciate y'all. All my big players up on here. All my big players. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for checking in. Appreciate you. Everybody involved, appreciate y'all. Yeah, 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 yeah. Definitely something I wanted to play. We talking about what? Ma.
The sea moss grows very thick and very fast. And when you get a little bit of it and you put it in the pot, it gives you a whole lot of mucilage. The natural sea moss doesn't give you a whole lot of mucilage. And the talus of the sea moss, I mean the little strings, thin, thin, thin like this, very thin, just like this. But the other one is 3 times the size. And the other one, 3 times the size, it always has salt on it. Natural sea moss has no salt on it. And it gives you energy.
I've recently discovered that there are quite a few people who are not aware of what real sea moss is supposed to look like. So I've made this video so that you all can hear from Dr. Sebi himself what real sea moss is supposed to look like and what the texture is supposed to be when you prepare it. I do sell real sea moss that comes from Honduras, and it is through the same source that Dr. Sebi used to harvest his sea moss. If you are interested, I will have a link in the description box below.
Dr. Sebi, since having been introduced to you, I've bellowed the virtues of sea moss, as you have. But I'm having a great deal of difficulty finding fresh sea moss in this country. Can you, A, elaborate on the benefits and the virtues of CMOS, and secondly, perhaps help me find some fresh CMOS. In this
Very good.
Thank you.
CMOS is known scientifically, there we go again, chondrous crystals, am I right? CMOS comes from the ocean. It locks onto a rock. And from that rock, it receives its nutrients.
Church.
Dr. Sebi, how could that be possible? A plant hold on to a rock? Yes. Scientists have yet to understand how could a plant hold on to a rock and then give you food. But you know what it did? They invented a word. This is the word. A 15-letter word. They call it iontrophoresis. Now dig that. They don't understand the workings of God, but they're going to give it a name. That a plant has the ability to convert a solid oxide substance into a liquid digestible substance. They call it iontrophoresis. CMOS does that. And every plant does that. But CMOS has iodides, bromides, it has all of the minerals, phosphorus, which is good for the thyroid gland, which is good for the endocrine system, and it's going to give you energy. And it has muscle food. They call it manito, CMOS. Like the man made peppermint, and he made aloe vera. He made noni juice. He made vitamin C out of acerola berry. But guess what he did in Boston? And you guys don't know it, and it's dangerous. The man went to the ocean and got a piece of sea moss because he knows that sea moss grows in the ocean where the sea is in constant motion. Sea moss doesn't grow where the sea stands still. It has to be in motion, and sea moss grows. So this man in Boston went and got pieces of sea moss, put it in this brine with salt on a machine, and he moved it. The machine is constantly moving. And lo and behold, the sea moss grows very thick and very fast. And when you get a little bit of it and you put it in the pot, it gives you a whole lot of mucilage. The natural sea moss doesn't give you a whole lot of mucilage. And the talus of the sea moss, I mean the little strings, thin like this, very thin, just like this. But the other one is 3 times the size. And the other one, 3 times the size, it always has salt.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey, appreciate y'all. Gotta get the point. Gotta get the point. Trying to make. But we about to get really into this. Because I ain't even get started yet with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Alright. We're going to start with this, and then we're going to move on and roll on. Start with your boy. There's no games today. I'm not playing no games with nobody. Let's get it.
All about black people, the same thing the media's been selling, that we're poor us, our lives are in danger every day just by living here in this country. They see me as a black man and they automatically go to victimhood or criminal. Hi, my name's Siaka Massaquoi. This is my story. I'm an actor, been here in LA for about 16 years now. My parents are Liberian, so I'm first generation American, and I was born in Rochester, New York. I grew up with my mom and my younger brother. I grew up extremely liberal. I think I grew up in a time when it was progressive before the phrase was popular. It's also told people in the South are super racist and they'll hang you. Be careful. It's also told, do not go into rural areas because then no one will find you and then you'll be lynched. Be careful. This is what I was told in the 90s about the other side and about this country. Cops will always act a certain way towards you. Be careful. I took this one class called Black Action Theater. I found that when I started doing the work in that class, it was the only thing that I ever did where I enjoyed the process just as much as the final product. When I got into this class and he had us writing scripts and he had us handing out our scripts and then other people perform it and you get a script at the moment. And I'm like, well, how quickly can I get into this character? Like I just really found a passion for the process of it. It was an opportunity not only just to tell stories, but to tell stories at a big level, you know, where you know it's going to reach and touch a lot of different people. That's what it was to me. And it was a chance to all these different fantasies I had in my head about like, you know, being the hero that can fly or the guy who's saving the princess with the sword fighting the dragon, all those things that I would read. I'm like, Hollywood offers that. When you're a non-union actor, I felt like, well, once I get into the union, then it's real. And I worked my butt off to try to do that in these different kind of hustle ways. And I finally got in. I realized when I was in, it's like, that's only just a taste of what it is. You need to like put in the work, go to classes, all this stuff that I didn't understand. I don't think it was hard because I was Black. I think it was hard because I didn't play these certain characters. It didn't fit like my energy. Hollywood is probably the most racist place that I've ever experienced. Early agents that I would have was, oh, you ever think about being a bad guy? You should hip hop it up more. What am I like slowly losing in my heart every time I go in for these parts, every time I cater to how they want me to be in this, what I find very bigoted approach. You have people like Jordan Peele saying, I'm not interested in telling white stories. I don't know what that means. You have Seth Rogen saying, I'm not going to hire white people anymore. All these people that made their money already. All these people that did in that same system that has been, they're screaming is super racist and super turned off. Now they're doing the exact same thing and stating it. They will say some of the most disgusting things around me. And I know they're only comfortable because I'm a Black guy. I know it. I don't think it's funny that you say, I don't like to hang out with white people and laugh. I don't think that's funny. That's terrible. It's okay you don't hire that guy because he's a tall white guy. It's okay that you do hire that guy because he's a Black guy. That is racist. Plain and simple. That is racist. Why would I want to be a part of that? That's the thing that really started to upset me. Do I see a white man coming towards me and be like, he's racist? And here we go. Because that's the ideology I was raised in. Old white men initially, you're racist. So I saw color, but I saw it from an evil standpoint and from a gross standpoint. And then I find out that wasn't true. That's the only thing that had pushed me away from the left was actually then going out and finding out for myself and not just trusting the book that was told to me or the TV show that told me how to think. You have these young Black boys and black girls looking for an answer. And you got Oprah telling them, no, yeah, it's white privilege. What country in the 80s would allow a fat Black woman to have a daytime talk show that now she is one of the richest people on the planet? That was here in America. I feel like the narrative Hollywood's trying to sell about Black people is the same thing the media's been selling, that poor us, our lives are in danger every day just by living here in this country. They see me as a Black man and they automatically go to victimhood or criminal. So that's how they start to control the culture, because then that's all you see is your representation. Then you have social media doubling down on it. Then you have the news doubling down on it. So you give them the entertainment so they can relate from it from an emotional standpoint. Then you do it in social media and news media where you give them like, look at the real life stuff. It's happening here. We're going to censor out when it happens to anyone else and only show you this thing. So now it connects with that movie you watched, right? Nothing's changed since the civil rights movement. That's not the truth. All my problems were me. They weren't because anyone else out there who didn't look like me was setting me up to fail. There's so much fear in this industry. And if anyone is on the right, that's it, you're done. Doesn't matter if you're Black or white. Doesn't matter if you're a woman. Doesn't matter if you're gay. I have been removed from this and from a couple projects, and I've seen friends be removed from projects. So people keep their mouth shut. For me, the fear was there too, but to keep my mouth shut so I can maybe get a job saying 3 or 4 lines on a co-star, like it doesn't add up anymore. I would say if there be a call to action for anyone in Hollywood, anyone who may be watching this, it's ask yourself what really matters in your heart. You have a chance to be different. And if you don't, you're going to have to live with that for the rest of your life. You have a chance today. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's try. And your strength will again give strength to others. There's other people there that you will find. I guarantee it. And the sacrifice isn't as bad as you think. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you want to see videos like this and more for free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation to PragerU. We got more content coming.
The seed level of Mary Ruth Organics' most successful product goes back to a way I've lived my entire life, to always care about other people. That's the most important thing. My dad and my 17-year-old brother, Daniel, both passed away suddenly. My mom, who's also the owner of Mary Ruth Organics, she...
All right, that's a little bit beyond what I was showing y'all. But let me show y'all the next piece, my next piece, our next piece on the situation on what we're dealing with. Let's get into this. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Like, follow, share, and subscribe to your boy. All right. I'm pretty sure y'all gonna love this. I'm just letting y'all know. Yeah.
Mark, get set. World, I give you Roseanne Barr, Nicole Arbor, Mario Lopez, Mr. Adam Carolla, Brian Callen. You have any liberal friends?
Oh yeah, everybody in my family is liberal. Are you
Thank you.
kidding?
Yeah.
You drive me, but I accept what they are. You know,
Right.
it's like if they didn't have an arm or something, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I just accept and pray for them. And,
Hey,
you know,
that's
I listen to
That
their,
is great.
you know, like when Trump won, I had broke my leg, you know, and I was in this hotel in San Francisco. And it was my birthday on November 3rd. So all my family came and they were with me when we had the election, you know, 16. And I told everybody, Trump's going to win by 80%.
Wow.
You know, they're telling me the whole time, there's no way, you know, the whole thing. And my one daughter's still being very angry at me, but she's really liberal. And when Trump won, she started crying. I'm not kidding. Tears were running down her cheeks. And this is what she said. He's going to deport all the gays. That's what she said.
As a white guy, you get pulled over by cops for a no front license plate and the guy's a douche, but you don't go, oh, it's because I'm white. You go, the cop's a douche, you know. And I do deals all the time where it's like the bank's not going to lend you the money. You got to put up 40%. I'm like, why do I need to put up 40%? I have such a good, the rule is, but I don't go, oh, it's because. I just go, those are the rules. Or I have a neighbor who's being unreasonable. And if I was black, I might go, well, that old man's a racist, but I'm white. I go, that old man's just a douche.
Right.
So my real privilege in being white is not really getting privileges. It's just knowing that the whole world is basically this way.
Right, and it's true. That's 100% true, and it's almost like the lens of racism is preventing people from being able to accurately assess what's happening. They don't know that bad exists. People have a bad day. You get a police officer, you could just be having a horrible day. You never know. Maybe he's been up since on the road since 3 a.m. and his boss is coming home. Everybody has a bad day, right? Including police officers. We know society is not perfectible. The left sort of sells black individuals this idea that it's like anything bad that happens to you is because of your skin color, not because this is just a life. Welcome to life, condition of life. People suck, people are mean, people say mean things, and you can have a bad day. And for some reason, black people have started to adopt this idea that we are special snowflakes. We are literally society special snowflakes. Anything happens bad to us, it is because of systemic oppression, systemic racism, and we're seeing that being perpetuated by people like Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, who have race hustled this society. Do you think comedians are losing their spine a little bit?
They're afraid.
They
afraid.
are.
I'll tell you why. Unfortunately, I think everybody's really afraid. I've seen this with my own eyes. I've had very powerful people call me and tell me this, because the truth is, it's very easy to destroy someone's life and take everything away from them. everything they've worked for.
Everything. It's so easy.
Happened to me, and it's happened to a lot of people I know. And it doesn't take any proof. It takes an allegation. It takes a tweet.
Listen,
And, you know, people think when you get fired for a tweet you sent out 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and you were joking around, there is no redemption online. And it's when you have a mortgage and you have children to pay for, you're going to choose that course. You're going to choose to protect your ability to keep that roof over your head, your car payments, and your children in school over an ideology. So what happens is we are living in this time where you're not allowed to speak your mind. You're not allowed to get closer to the truth. You better be on one side or you better be very quiet. And now you can't even be quiet. Now with this notion of critical race theory and stuff, even silence is violence, right? It's just what's going on. There are some very bad ideas out there, and they're not the ideas that gave us the free society that we have. The only way we move forward is through debate, through the exercise of free ideas, and let's see whose idea is best.
Yeah, that's why I think their words on the internet just don't hurt that much.
I'm
I'm like,
I can
stop it.
literally log off of Twitter at any moment. And I just say to myself, it's just incredible to me. Like people had to live through like real stuff, like world wars, Great Depressions, and like right now, like our great wars. Like I can't deal with mean words on the internet. I'm just like, toughen up.
Oh, geez.
It's true.
Turn it off.
You know those people though that get mad that are like super woke and stuff? You've never been through shit.
Thank you.
That's how I know you've never been through real shit.
Shelby.
So
Is
true.
you're mad at words on the internet or you're mad at
The
an
shit
article.
you've been through is shit
It's
that
just
you
this
create.
hypocrisy. I know you see it, but like
Right.
kids don't do drugs while they have blow in their nose, like
Right.
Hollywood, or like don't bully while the same celebrities are posting shit on Twitter, tearing down either the president or someone else.
Oh my
Just-
gosh.
It's just all
Wait,
you're all full
one
of
day
it,
I'm
you
going
know?
to actually release like the private messages between me and Jamila Jalil or whatever the
Go
Jamil,
on.
this like the actress that was supposed to
Yeah.
come on my podcast, but then canceled it because I said only women can give birth. I made that mistake of
What a
saying
baby.
saying the truth on the internet. I made that mistake. I just
Yeah.
cannot
Well,
learn
that's
how to
true.
lie.
Yeah, that's true though.
But prior to that, she was like messaging me privately on Twitter.
I'm sorry, just where would it come out on a man? I just don't know what her thoughts are. I'm trying to picture it and it hurts. It's
It
like
hurts.
squeezing it.
It
no,
hurts. It's not
gross.
nice to think,
Ew.
to even think about.
Okay. No
But,
uterus, it's weird.
The amount of attacks and the nastiness of the things that she said to me, and I actually said to her, I just want to confirm you're an anti-bullying activist, right?
Mm.
And she said, well, yeah, but I'm just dishing it to you because you dish it to other people. I'm like, oh, so
Oh.
you're the vigilante bully.
Oh,
I
got
get it.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go around and you decide who you're allowed to attack based off of what you decide people, what people you think are deserving of those words.
Oh,
And I'm like, you're
got
so
it.
hypocritical. You're so hypocritical.
It is interesting to see for a party or a community that's supposed to be all about inclusivity and diversity. They're with you unless it's diversity of thought,
Right?
or unless
Right? They want you to look different, but think the same. Like they're okay if everybody looks different, but as long as they are in lockstep and they think the same. And I agree with you that I think it runs counter
Unity,
to
huh?
creativity. So when I grew up, I used to
How
watch all of
individuals
the stand-up comedians.
is robotic.
And Chris Rock, there was one Bigger and Blacker.
Mhm.
It's comedic gold.
Right,
He's
right.
so offensive in that. Go back and watch it. He's making fun of school shooters. Like he's
Yeah.
like, there's definitely going to be a white guy. That's a white crime,
Right.
right? And he's in the
But
room
we're all
and he's knocking
accepting
people
it.
for being white, for
We're
being
not
black, for being
sensitive.
Hispanic. And everyone's cracking up. And what people miss about this culture
Thank-
being so sensitive is that when you're able to mock everyone and mock yourself,
Get
it
along?
actually brings you closer.
Yeah,
Right?
that-
You stop taking yourself so seriously.
in comedians, I'd be so apprehensive of wanting to get into comedy right now because you feel so handcuffed.
Right.
And now like the situation with Kevin Hart a while back, and when he was going to host the Oscars, and then for something he said, and that's another slippery slope when you start going back years. Thank God my bachelor years and all that was pre-social media.
Right? To
'Cause-
be done.
Oh my God, I
Right.
can't even imagine all
Right.
the stuff. So that's a very scary situation. I think about like future presidents and our future leaders. They're all going to have pictures or videos of something, and not necessarily that's all. Because that's just the way kids are now, right?
Right.
Everything's documented, and there's going to be moments of when you're silly and maybe you weren't so proud of it.
well,
That's going to
what
come back
do you
and
mean?
haunt them, and that's just a very slippery
Right.
slope.
They're telling us how we have to think. That's fascism.
Right, of course.
I want you to think what you want. I want you to live your life. I don't want to jam my views on you.
Right.
Don't jam your views on me.
Period.
I don't want to hear that. I
Why is
believe
this, why
certain
is this
things.
so
That's who
extreme?
I am. You'll never change me. You'll never rock me. And stop it. It's not going to work. And I'm not going to try and change you because I know as strongly as I feel.
Right, you feel the same way. Thank you.
I might be more informed than you, but back off.
Right.
And they can't do it. Like
No.
this girl, this actress that's out there right now boycotting Georgia. You can't. The people in that state can't think for
No,
themselves.
they can't think for
How
themselves.
dare you do that?
But that's the
How dare-
narcissism that I'm talking about, right? The narcissism is like, I am an actress, and therefore I know how everyone must think. And if they don't think like me, I'm going to use my position and my publicity to just shut down everything and their views and their perspective, and to boycott and to inspire riots against people. They're okay
Yeah,
with
I know.
violence.
Exactly
They're
right.
okay with
Right.
intolerance.
Exactly
They're
right.
okay with
Not
that.
okay.
Yep.
As long as those people are advocating for
Civil.
what they believe.
Right.
Let's
Right.
do the right
You don't
thing.
know me. You don't know more about me than me.
Than me.
Right.
Thank you.
America's long-term care
That is
centers
straight.
are working
You don't know more
hard to
about me
protect
than
our
me.
vulnerable
Period.
seniors.
It doesn't
Our
matter
nursing
what
homes and long-term
color
care
you are. I
facilities
don't
are
care
doing
how much
everything
melanin
they
you
can
got.
to keep our residents
Don't
safe.
know more about a
While
person
vaccine is
than
an
that
important
person.
step, we have to keep up the fight. We must continue to support our
We're out of problems. We have a part of our brain that needs to solve problems, fear problems, negotiate with problems. And no problems means not no problems to a lot of people. It means let's create problems synthetically so that we can occupy this part of our brain. And, anyone who's ever studied anybody who was really wealthy, and oftentimes kept, like, if you are wealthy and you are out there earning money every day and you're running a business, then those are your problems. But if you take that person's husband or wife or whoever the part of the couple is that doesn't have to go out there and chew up that real estate every day and make that money and pay the employees and account for the bottom line and everything, you take the rich person that's at home and doesn't have anything to do, then you'll say, how's your day going? And they'll go, oh my God, the florist was late. It was a disaster. And it's like, the florist? You have a florist,
Right.
So the florist was late. That's a disaster. Like, they're the people that are subject to the hyperbole. Those are that their dog walker didn't show up on time, and the guy who was supposed to break in your husband's Italian loafers got sick, and it's all a disaster.
Right.
And so if you take human beings, you remove responsibility, obligation, and real gravity from their life, they will then create their own problems to fill that in. Now, if you take, but it's kind of like when I used to do Loveline, I used to, once in a while, I'd talk to a dominatrix, and on the show, not off camera. Those conversations are very personal and private, but I always had this theory when they talk about, how expensive it was. And the guy, it's always like, he wanted me to come in, and then I put him in a diaper and he crawled around and I smacked him with his Huggy Bookie, and I'd go, these are all rich white businessmen, right? And she'd go, yeah, every time. And I'm like, yeah. I said, you ever have a poor Mexican guy in there? And like, no. And I'm like, you want to know why? Because that guy's life is getting his ass kicked. That guy's got a foreman who's a douche, and he's got to go to work all day, and he's got to pay bills. And the rich white guy, he's in charge of the whole place.
Mm.
And so when he wants his outlet, he wants to be smacked in the ass with a bungee cord and drink out of his bottle. So people
1 second, y'all.
will go into their modes depending on what the stimuli is. And you give a person unlimited money and zero problems, and they're going to go on a hunt to find problems.
Most of us are living our lives. I got bills. So I work in a restaurant. If I'm not trying to run a restaurant, I'm not thinking about race. I'm really not.
Right.
I need to get good food to my customers and compete with the restaurant over there.
Mm.
Whatever that takes, I got to do. the last thing I'm thinking about is how racist we are. I don't have, most people just don't have the time. The people that are coming up with these narratives have the time to sit around and think about it. They're not actually doing the work. They don't have, I'm sorry, but they don't have real jobs. One of the things I thought was great about this book, Skin in the Game, is he says, I wonder how many Hollywood celebrities and how many academics and how many economists, how many politicians preaching economic and social equality actually have friends that work with their hands. How many people at your table, at your dinner table, do you invite who are landscapers and plumbers and carpenters? Just a question, just a question.
We may never pass this way again.
Customer service is all about helping people, to bring people and things together that are meant to be together.
If we never chance to meet again.
Genesis gives customer care reps like me an almost superhuman ability to do just that.
We got real commercials on here. Apologize, y'all. That's not my.
I do believe that as Americans, we are extremely uneducated, and the problem is that very few countries. America might be the only country that you can get on a plane for 6 hours and still be in America. And unfortunately, so many people are not well traveled. So one of the blessings of my early 20s is that I traveled to so many different countries,
Right.
and traveling and seeing the way other people live really makes you love your country
That's
a
such
little
an
bit
excellent
more.
point. And listen, America, okay, whatever problems we may have, believe me, way better off. And when it's the best country in the world, that is not just hyperbole. It really is the greatest. place in the
Yeah, I have
world.
no
And
idea
when you
the
travel, you
situation
really
that you deal with when you go to
appreciate it, and you really get it.
Right.
No matter
They're not
what
relative.
Right.
You
And
can't
they'll
even
say, oh,
relate
well, you know,
to it.
we're not the best in the world.
But you want
and
to act like
people
you can
are
because you feel
passing engineering
virtuous.
tests at a higher rate in China
It's
or
on
in
your
India. And I'm
ability
like, do
to
you want to live in
protest
India?
and be
No.
in the
Maybe there's a
forefront.
different metric. Maybe there's a different way that we're measuring to determine what makes a country great. Everyone wants to come here. At the same time that you're calling us a racist, sexist,
Time you
misogynist
did in the Middle
society,
East, so
you're
ain't.
demanding that we open our borders and let everybody in. But what is it that we have that everybody wants to come in to receive? Right? And I don't think it's handouts. I think it's opportunity. And I fight to protect those opportunities.
You're exactly right. I mean, I'm an example of that, right? Coming here and being first generation, and I don't think I'd be able to do what I was fortunately been able to do if it wasn't here,
Right.
And to have these opportunities. When you were rattling off all those labels, those words have gotten to the point where they almost mean nothing.
They mean nothing.
now.
They mean nothing. It's sad.
And yet, you know, it is. I was just going to say that, and it's kind of sad now because there's just so off the cuff and
Right.
flippant when they're
Disagree
just
with me? Racist.
right.
Don't see it my way? Sexist.
Right, exactly.
And it what it does is it's something that Dennis Prager always talks about is it actually cheapens evil, where now if you are a racist, you can get away with it because they're calling everybody racist.
Right.
So when somebody says this guy's racist, it's like, well, they said Candace is a racist. I'm being called a white supremacist. I mean, this is really where we've gotten in society.
That's funny. Yeah.
Where I read headlines that say that, you know, the first ever black white supremacist. And I'm just trying.
Isn't that a Dave Chappelle skit?
They call me that. They call me
Dave Chappelle,
Clayton Bigsby.
Yeah, Clayton
Right,
Bigsby. He was funny. I like Clayton Bigsby.
That skit could never fly today, by the way.
Right.
Could never fly today.
A lot of the comedy.
Could never fly today. Go watch
Yeah.
any of those things that we used to laugh at. If you even laughed at that skit, like we just laughed, they would have you labeled. They
Isn't
would
that
say this
crazy?
isn't
Yeah.
funny because everyone's so sensitive and they can't take a joke. And it's problematic because like I said, being able to laugh at one another, that's what brings us together. Sandra Sellers, who was, I would say is, but was a adjunct professor at Georgetown Law.
I end up having
Their own
this
commercial.
angst
Awesome.
every semester. A lot of my lower ones are
Together.
And I remember being on The View. And just being
Ever fly today, by the way.
Right.
Could
Right.
Never fly
Isn't that
today.
A lot of the comedy.
Could never fly today. Go watch
Yeah.
any.
So I don't know when this will air, but today they got an applause break for white nationalists, and I just flipped my coffee table just to be dramatic. And I was like, "We're living in South Park. It has happened. This isn't real life."
No, who were they defending?
I forget his name, but he's like a lead white nationalist because he talks some ish about Trump. And they were like, he's talking shit about Trump. He's
Oh,
on
but
our
that's
side.
that's a rule, yeah.
Yeah.
No matter what, it doesn't matter who says it. If it's against Trump, the left just like completely says it's okay and it's fine.
As a Canadian, the show is hilarious. Not just yours. Politics of America. Wow, you guys are dramatic
It
AF.
is the longest running. I don't know if it's a sitcom or if it's
Some days.
Some days.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's very Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
General Hospital.
Almost a little Spanish soap opera.
It is
too.
very soap
It's like,
opera-y.
why is she yelling for no reason? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
I know. I
yeah.
always say that. I'm like, what is the perception outside of the walls of America on what's going on here? Because like you turn on the TV and it is just so theatrical. Like you can't compete with our real life here. Like there's
No.
no point in making soap operas. There's no point in making Broadways because like we are living it every single day here.
Yeah, America the Musical. Yeah, it's great. And then the award shows and like the other day with Michelle Williams that we were talking about, I had an abortion, but now I have this piece of plastic. And
That
I'm like,
was like I was wondering what planet we were on. So for people that are watching this, if you didn't watch the Golden Globes, I definitely didn't either. I just then went to go find clips because Ricky Gervais was just so amazing in roasting the room. But there is Michelle Williams, who is an actress who accepted an award for something, and she goes up and she
Probably
gets
acting.
she gets her little statue for something.
Yeah.
She gets her little statue and she gives this speech, which was pro-abortion, and she basically said, I would have never earned this inanimate object if I did not kill my baby and get an abortion years ago. And the room broke out into applause for the
There was
speech.
tears,
and
there's
there were
women in the crowd
tears.
crying, and I'm just like, y'all are crazy. You're crazy people. You like the same people that are like Tim Allen did cocaine in the 80s, who didn't, from what I know, and they hate him because of that, are like, kill the babies.
Yeah,
Like,
it was just weird. I was literally just like, this is the Twilight Zone. Like
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Facts. This is why people think Hollywood is this crazy as I don't know what, right? So that feels right. So, all right. Still not done yet. Almost done, but still getting in. Appreciate y'all. Like, follow, share, and subscribe. I won't drag y'all on for too long and make this unbearable to watch. But what I will do, give you a reason to watch it and enjoy these giants. Oh my God! Hey, we about to get into this. I couldn't believe we watching this live. Let's get into this. You let me know what's going on. We checking into this right now live. Let's get it.
Well, she was a pastor and she's a praying woman. She's a doctor of theology. So I was raised around her. My mom got married when I was in the 4th grade. To
17-year-old getting, you went to culinary school, got a degree.
way down to putting pipes, in there for, wash and dry hookups, etc. We built out our own dog house.
Get it, play it. Let's get it.
I needed to know all of those things until I got older and realized a lot of other young men didn't
Get
know.
it.
And then my mom got married again when I was 16 to my stepfather that I have now, Detective Andre Hardaway, DeKalb County Police. Most of you may be familiar with him from the First 48, Detective Hardaway. But I love him to death. He's awesome on both sides. He may not be a handyman, but he's a very good father and a good husband.
Oh my gosh, First 48. That's
kind of
special.
like my family.
That's
So I
that
kinda
bad,
grew up
bro.
a little bit with my grandma and my mom, and just them, molding and training me. My stepfather, I appreciate him to death. My father, my biological father, and I, we don't have a bad relationship. He wasn't just always there, but my mom always made sure we didn't have a bad relationship. My mom, is just a beautiful person. She used to actually buy my dad gifts to give me for Christmas and for my birthday and stuff like that. Like she would literally go buy a gift, go give it to him, and then go get me and then bring me there to pretend that he gave me a gift. But she's such a beautiful person. She But I remember this one year, and I tell people all the time how important it is to have fathers in your life. My dad came to 2 of my football games my whole life. I played football like my whole life, but he came to 2 football games. I remember those games so vividly just because he was there at those 2 football games. And my mom came to every game I had, and I can barely remember what she was cheering about. But I remember the 2 games my dad came to, and it was this one year I had turned, I think I turned 11 or 12. And my mom knows I hate chocolate cake. My dad brought me a chocolate cake on June the 26th, a month before my birthday. He thought my birthday was on June the 26th instead of July the 26th. But he brought me a chocolate cake, and I ate that cake, and I was so happy that my dad brought me something. I didn't even care that he brought it on the wrong day. It was just a thought, that he decided to, just do something. And I tell people all the time, you don't understand how important fathers are. And if we, foster those relationships and make those relationships important with those fathers, regardless of if they're there or not. I like to use my mom as an example. My dad wasn't always there, but at the same time, my mom made sure we never had a bad relationship. And now I don't fault him, for that, because nobody taught him how to be a father. So I just kind of just look at him, and I talk to him on the phone sometimes. He'll tell me he's proud of me and stuff like that. I take care of my siblings as well, but it is what it is. I just love him to death, regardless of, what he's done for me as a father. I just decide to love him anyway.
That's great, man. I mean, that is absolutely wonderful to hear, because a lot of people they don't have a chance to be exposed to like the intimacy of hearing a young man, a son, talk about his father. And I think that this could be a message not only to young fathers out there, and not even just young fathers in general, and also mamas in general that had kids with a man that she may not like. Listen to how the son views the man. This is not your situation, but I know a lot of times this could possibly happen, is that the mom may not like the dad, but you have no idea the impact that father has on a young man and his identity. So do you, with the organization that you are a part of, or that you started, I mean, let me not get that twisted. The organization that you started, do you believe that your relationship with your father instigated, not just your father, the other father figures in your life, do you believe that instigated you to start something like this?
Absolutely. It definitely did, because looking at where my biological father was, what my former stepfather did for me, and what my stepfather now is doing for me, of course, I believe that I'm able to put all of those things together and teach, the young men that I do have in my organization. Because looking at when I did start the organization, I was 19, and I started it because I was like going around our community, and it was so much going on here in Albany. At one point, we were the 4th poorest city in the nation. We're 74% Black city, so it's the majority Black people that live here. And crime was so high amongst boys ages 17 to 25. And so I'd go to these different stop the violence meetings, etc. But nobody wanted to like really put in the work that I wanted to do. And so we're talking about these young men, but I'm just like, well, can we get out here and go do something, with them? That's kind of where I was. I wanted to do something with them. So I started doing little field trips with them. All I did was make some flyers. I went to different football practices and passed them out. I made some little flyers on my phone. I printed them out at the library. And I just went and put them around the city. I went and posted them up at different restaurants. I mean, I was dedicated to trying to make sure these young men had somewhere to go. I got 20 young men on my first field trip. We went to the African American History Museum and the Center for Civil and Human Rights. I brought them back to town, and we got them free haircuts. I had a long talk with them, and to hear what the young men were saying, about their things that they've been through in their lives. To hear them wanting to be out of their conditions, hear them actually wanting to go do something with their lives, I knew that's where I was supposed to be, doing my most work, because I had been hosting like different talk sessions with, older men and things like that. But I'm just like, what's really gonna push, and change this next generation? Because I do believe one of the biggest mistakes our civil rights leaders made was not training any replacements. And so that's kind of where I am now, just trying to train our replacements and, mold them for the future, because they are our future. So I definitely think my upbringing, with my 3 different fathers helped me out a whole lot, because I'm able to teach them all those things that I didn't know. I mean, we've done oil change workshops, brake changing ceiling fans, sheetrock, flooring, toilets, everything. I mean, if you go look on the website, everything on there, you'll see what we've done over the past 2 years. And I've been running this organization out of my house. So it's just been beautiful to see the growth from there.
That's amazing. It's amazing. And I want you to just tell briefly, how old were you when you first started doing this with these young men? How old were you?
I was 19 years old.
19. Where was I at 19 years old? I was thinking about nobody but myself. I was playing college football and I had a terrible attitude and I was all messed up. So at 19 years old, you have taken the responsibility, and you've had a keen eye, and I believe God is anointed you to do this. You've taken a keen eye to support these young men. I want you to tell people, and we're going to continue to talk about this, but I want you to tell people what is the website that your organization, what's the organization's website so people can go visit?
Absolutely. It's thexforboys.org. That's THE, the letter X, FORBOYS.org. You can go there and see all of our pictures, all of our old videos, everything I've taught the boys, etc. It's all on the website. Everything about me, everything about some of the kids, you'll be able to figure it out on the website.
Right. And if somehow you're blind and you can't see, you just look at his name tag right there, the X for Boys, and just put a .com at the end of that, the X for Boys. .org.
Yeah.
.org. I know you sent it to me. How did I mess that up? But .org, because it's an organization. Also, we have links in the description section where you can go and click and donate. And let me say this, because I know people are watching this and some people are enthusiastic and maybe people become lethargic at some point, but I want you guys to make sure you hit the like button. This video needs to go way further than I believe that it's at right now. And I'm going to challenge us. And I'm not gonna make people do stuff that I'm not gonna do, right? So I want to challenge us to go to the link and support. All of the super chats that we get from here, I'm going to donate them, plus I'm gonna donate a part to the xforboys.org. So all of y'all watching, if you write a super chat, whatever amount, it could be $99 or whatever, those super chats are going to go to the organization. I'll present to you what I'm going to donate to you at the very end of this live stream. And so I think this should be a community, kind of get together of donating and supporting this young man.
Thank you. Absolutely.
A 21-year-old young man doing more than 50, 60-year-old men complaining on the internet all the time. So, but let's continue to go down this path, because you haven't always had, I guess, the perfect life. Your story, and I heard you talk about this on the Instagram. So I'm like, if he put it out there, then that means that it's a testimony that he's comfortable saying. But you had mentioned that you had these father figures in your life, and a lot of people may be saying, oh, he was in a perfect situation. He had, even though it was different men, there was a lot of men in his life, but they all helped him become who he is today, which is true. However, you did have to handle some adversities that no young man should ever have to go through. But what it did is, and I want you to talk a little bit about how that helped you with dealing with young men and seeing the things that they go through and how to combat that moving forward. So if you don't mind, just tell the people a little bit about what you said on your Instagram the other day about, kind of what happened to you when you were younger. I mean, at a really young age.
Absolutely. Well, I'll actually give a 3-part small story to go into that, because a lot of people don't know many things that have happened to me as a child, which is why my grandma says all the time she knew I was here to do something special. So I'll give my first story. I was a toddler. I wasn't able to walk yet. I maybe was crawling at the time. My mom put me in the back seat of her car, and my cousin was with her in the vehicle, and my cousin didn't strap me all the way in the car, which she thought she did, or whatever like that. So my mom, she was riding on the highway. My mom has this habit of looking back in the rearview mirror to look at me, just because I do the same thing with my son. And so she looked back in the rearview mirror and I wasn't in my seat. The door was open and I was miles down the street in the middle of the road as a baby. And so my mom was like, oh my God, we in the middle of the highway. Like, we was on the expressway. And she took me there where we was. And she was like, she backed up so fast, like she never did before. She was backing up so fast and she was praying that no cars had come or anything like that, but she finally got to me, and she grabbed me and she was like, no cars had come until she picked me up. That's when cars started coming down the road. And then another story I had, I was actually in the bed with my grandmother as a baby, like a hand baby. And she was telling me that when she was on the phone, my grandmother was on the phone, and you have a phone cord. They had a phone cord back in the day. And so she said she turned around and she has no clue to this day how the phone cord got wrapped so many times around my neck. She had to cut it off of my neck. That's how much it was wrapped around my neck. Then I go into the story that you were talking about. When I was younger, maybe about 3 or 4 years old, most people, we've had the good touch, bad touch conversation, with your children about people touching you and things like that. So I was at my grandmother's house, and her daughter at the time was actually having full blown sex with me as a 4-year-old. Like I was 3 or 4 at the time. Now, mind you, I didn't think that it was wrong because it felt good at the time. I didn't know what was going on, and things like that. She's a grown woman. So I was going there quite often. I always wanted to go to my godmom's house because I loved her. But at the same time, I was going over there and I was just like, oh, yeah, this is great, whatever like that. But my mom, when we eventually had the good touch, bad touch conversation, I was like, oh, no, somebody is touching me. I didn't know it was wrong. Of course, my mom got all that handled, my one berserk, etc. And they handled that situation. But people don't understand how that, messes up a young man and what it does to them growing up. And I even talked about, how it affected me growing up, because as a child, I was like, how a young boy will look at an older woman and people think that's cute and stuff like that. It affected me a lot because at that time I was looking for that feeling again. I was trying to figure out who would touch me now. I'm just like, I want to get that again. It's like it came so early. And I didn't need that. And a lot of young men are misrepresented when it comes to molestation because a lot of it happens from women, and that's kind of like a rite of passage and this, that, and the third, these teachers bothering students, etc. Like I even know I was talking about on the live video, like a lot of the students that were having sex with teachers, etc. Of course, nobody said nothing, but these are things that happen, growing up. And I was even talking about, even with young girls and how we don't like to admit that, some of these little girls be bothering, a lot of older men. And I was speaking to some male teachers and how they were saying, these girls be coming to school with these dresses on, and they be trying to make them, touch them by mistake and bend over and all that stuff like that. Like these children are actually out here bothering adults as well. And we don't like to talk about that. And I'm just like, no, that's serious issue that we need to talk to our children about. Because, we'll say something if, adult bites, on that, which is sick at the end of the day. But at the same time, we don't want to talk about how our children, was bothering these adults. We watched our classmates bother the, female teachers. So we watched our girl classmates, try to be googly eyes and all that stuff with our male teachers and things like that. We don't like to talk these serious conversations. And the only reason I brought up this conversation was because one of my boys had come to me about being molested from his dad's side of the family. And see, in the Black community, we have an issue with incest, and we will not talk about it. And I'm just like, we know a lot of us have these different stories, and even Dave Chappelle talked about it, how we have all these different stories about what has happened, in our homes, but we just have awkward Thanksgivings for the rest of our lives. Like we know granddad touched this person or uncle touched this cousin or whatever like that, and we don't want to have these conversations. We just have awkward Thanksgivings for the rest of our lives. But we know good time well what actually happened, or uncle may be paying mama's bills or whatever, and she may be allowing him to touch the daughter and stuff to keep the bills paid, etc. Like these are all things that have happened all the time in our community that we will not talk about. It's like it's blasphemy to even bring up to grandma what granddaddy did, or something like that. So these are issues that we have in our community. But one of my boys brought up to me that he was being molested by his dad's side of the family. Now they don't want anything else to do with him on that side at all. They won't even talk to him and stuff. So I'm just like, these are issues we got to talk about in our community. I don't care what nobody says. We need to talk about these things. And I'm just like, I want to make sure that our boys know they got an outlet with me. Counseling, etc. Because even whenever we open our school, all boys are doing mandatory counseling. Everybody's doing therapy. I don't care if you think something wrong with you or not. That's super important because that's something we don't talk about in our community. But that's kind of an idea of kind of what happened to me and why I started talking about it.
Yeah, I think that your story is thank God you made it out of that, man, and you're still a young man, and for you to be able to be mature enough to make it out of that and have a testimony to talk about these things is incredible, bro. Your testimony is incredible. And glad you're not a victim and you're not walking around acting like, you know, that your life is over because these things happen to you, which you could have in this day and age, you could have, but you haven't. You use that as a testimony to bless other people in the help of the young men. So I want to talk about a few things, and I appreciate everybody rolling in the super chats. Keep rolling in the super chats. If you appreciate what this young man, King Randall, is saying, what he's doing for young men, keep super chatting. That's what this is about. So, and at the end of this, and I'll say this, I'll make this bold claim, you know, because I had a number in my mind that I wanted to donate to you, but I'll match whatever people super chat, I'll match it. Whatever that number is, I'll match it. So y'all keep rolling the super chats in. Once we get to the end, I'll match it. I'll tell you what it is. And I appreciate you guys for the support, but I want people to understand this, because you hit on a point that people may not understand if they didn't grow up in the Black community, is the sexual manipulation of young Black people that pushes them into an over-sexualized state as children all the way to adults. I know a lot of people, and I knew it when you said it on your live stream, a lot of people get confused when you say that these young girls are pushing up on adults. Now, you and I both know that you're a grown man. If you mess with a kid, I don't care what they do, you're going to jail and you deserve it. However, people need to understand that these young people are being manipulated into being over-sexualized, and they are putting themselves in a position to approach these dirty men. Because I want people to understand this. A young lady could be like, we had campus monitors when I was at school, smashing the little girls on the campus. And to me, they little girls because they were 16, 18, or whatever, all the way through. So we had campus monitors messing with young girls. Now, will the campus monitor go to prison? I think he should if he's messing with young girls. But the problem is that nobody's going to catch the campus monitor. The young girls are going to push up on them, and these dirty men are going to have sex with them. They're going to have kids with them, or they're going to mess them up psychologically. And at the end of the day, nobody is going to care, and nobody's going to hold that man accountable. What you're going to have to do as a parent is to make sure you protect your children.
Right.
Because once they get taken advantage of, there's not enough jail time you can give a person for doing that to a young kid. But let's get back to this chat is like, hold on a second. I got my chat open on my computer for my.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking at it over here.
No. I got my my company chat open, and everybody's
okay,
messaging.
Gotcha.
It's going beep 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 in my ear, so I had to turn it off. But okay, all right, I got that fixed. So I want to continue down the path of the things that you do for these young men. So how many boys do you support or you mentor typically on a I could say on an annual basis right now? How many boys do you mentor?
I have about 40 to 60 boys in the program altogether. However, I do have children that do live with me. I've taken children from the juvenile justice system. We don't have any rehabilitation programs here in the city of Albany or even Southwest Georgia at all for any juvenile offenders. So when they're going to jail, they're going right back. So I started taking children from the juvenile justice system. I've kept some of them out of jail. Our program has a 0% recidivism rate. Every child that's come to our program from jail has never been back. That's one thing we love to tout. But I actually started taking custody of some of the children because they aren't having the best living conditions at home. So I actually have custody of 2 of the children right now. They live with me at the moment. They're in the family room right now, but they've been living with me for a while. But I actually started taking the children into my home last summer. Because when COVID happened, I had to kind of stop everything I was doing. I was doing a book club and things like that, but I had to stop everything I was doing because of COVID. But parents were still asking me, could I please do something for the children? And I was like, well, if I do, they have to come live at my house. And they were just like, okay. So I went and got some bunk beds. I put them in my living room and we made it happen. Now, mind you, I didn't have the most funds at the time. I was a little broke, but I was making it work. I was calling my mom, asking her to help me feed the boys. We was eating beanies and weenies and noodles, and sometimes we was eating sandwiches. Sometimes we didn't eat anything. But we made it work. Sometimes the lights had to get cut off. I got to call mom, be like, hey mom, can you help us turn the lights back on? We got a story to tell. We've been stuck on the side of the road before. We've been on a field trip, and then the tire went flat, and the jack didn't want to lift the truck up, and then we was in the middle of nowhere. Had to wait 8 hours for a tow truck the nearest tow truck to come. Like we've had so many stories, but I stayed committed, to what we were doing. And these things built a bond, with the boys because they watched me, build this from nothing to something. And so now a lot of my boys don't feel like they can't do anything because they've watched, their teacher from 19 to 21 just build up, everything around them. Even from having my own home to my own vehicles, etc. Just by doing work. I mean, me and my little brother was able to support the program. He's 15, but we started painting houses. I didn't even know how to paint houses. My little brother and I were actually painting the insides of houses at first. But one day I was actually at Home Depot picking out some paint for a new house on the inside. And this lady was like, "Hey, do you know how to paint houses like on the outside?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." And I said, "Yes, ma'am, I do." She said, "Well, will you come out and look at my house?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So I came out and looked at it, gave her my little price, and me and my little brother sat on YouTube for about 2 hours, and we figured out how to paint some houses. And I got out there and I taught my boys how to paint some houses just off of YouTube, and they look immaculate. They're on our website. They look like some professional jobs. So that's kind of something, I'm just like, we got to look at. I'm just like, if we can get on YouTube, and I learned how to cut hair and things like that off of YouTube. I learned how to do a lot of stuff that I didn't know how to do on YouTube. We used it to our advantage. So my little brother and I, we made sure we kept everything running just based off of using our hands. So even my little brother has watched me like literally come from nothing and make something out of nothing. Just because of having the drive and the will to do it. He's watched me come from nothing and just made it happen with this organization. And now, we're just now getting our own school. We have our own school bus now, so that's just been the beautiful thing. It's just where we've decided to build this from, and just having big boy faith. That's one of our shirts. It says big boy faith. And that's what we believe in, just believing in ourselves. And so, even with me just being the young age, at the end of the day, I didn't have a school. So what's the point of me asking, not asking the school board to buy one of their schools? I mean, why not? I mean, the worst they could say is no. So I'm just like, I didn't have it in the first place, so might as well ask. It ain't like it's gonna hurt my life if they say no. And I know a lot of people have a fear of people saying no, especially young people. I'm just like, so what? Okay, you didn't have it anyway. You might as well ask. So and people know me. I ask for anything. I don't care. I will ask. Because I have big boy faith, and that's how we've been making things happen, man. Big boy faith is what we believe in.
Yeah, bro. I mean, you got that. Even the Bible talks about you only have to have the amount of faith of a mustard seed. People think that they got to be these big crazy thinkers to get things done. However, you can be a mustard seed faith person and still get things done. However, I think that when you got big boy faith, you get big boy stuff done. The mustard seed will get you by. But when you got big boy faith, you buy schools. Let's talk about this for a minute because I'm interested in this school thing because I saw the videos on I think I saw the pictures of the school. Dude, I've been following you, man. I see when y'all was getting ready to purchase the school. You were talking about the renovations of the school and the approval process. So you have a mentoring program. You're 21. You mentor young men. You have taken custody of young men that live with you. You support them as a father figure, not only in word, but in deed. And you also have school buses, or at least you got a transportation and a school. Can you explain, as people continue to donate, y'all finna make me put a lot of money out there. I made a promise in front of the world that we'll match the super chats, and y'all are rolling in super chats like it's going out of style. You can super chat, you can donate on his website. I will match what the super chat say. So as long as y'all keep rolling them in, but as y'all continue to support, as y'all continue to hit the like button to make this stream even bigger, Randall King, I want you to explain what is this school thing? Like talk to my people about what exactly do you have by owning the school? What can you do? I know LeBron James went out there and did something similar to that, but how is what you're doing either similar or more involved in kind of the LeBron James school thing?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I love brother LeBron. That's one of my favorite players. But his school is actually not owned by LeBron. It's actually owned by a school system. It's a charter school. Our school will be owned by us. It's not owned by the charter system or nothing. Of course, it has his name and his slogans, etc. But it's not LeBron James' school. You can go search his school up on Wikipedia and it'll tell you who actually owns it. But we will be actually owning our own school with our own curriculum. That we'll be teaching our boys. This will be called the Life Preparatory School for Boys. It's kind of self-explanatory, Life Prep. and we'll be preparing them for life. So at this school, we'll be teaching them, of course, math, reading, science, social studies, the normal things. But we'll also be teaching the science of manhood, how to survive in the wilderness, things like that. How to shoot, firearms training. Also, all the basic knowledge of
all the stuff I
working
want
on
to do.
cars, working on
That
houses,
I am
etc.
doing.
Now, for these different tracks, if they want to go down these tracks further, we'll have areas for them to go down. Like, let's say, they start working on cars. Everybody will have a basic knowledge of automotive repair. But if you want to go deeper into it, then we'll get you into that area. I want to make sure we're grooming them for where they want to be. This is where high school is supposed to be.
Yes.
Not necessarily just, telling them anything until 12th grade and then getting them out of there and they don't know
Thank
nothing.
you. And they don't know nothing about what they're gonna do.
Where they're supposed to go.
Oh,
So we'll have tracks for them to go down. We'll also be doing different sports as well. We'll be doing basketball. I don't believe in football anymore. I'm sorry. But we'll be doing basketball, lacrosse, professional billiards, professional ping pong, professional esports. Because I want to tell the boys all the time, I'm just like, somebody getting paid to do what you like to do all the time. So if you're playing video games, you can get paid to do it and have your own professional teams for it. So we'll be doing all these things to get them into other sports, because a lot of children, especially young black boys, think they can only play basketball and football. I'm just like, no, you can do golf, tennis, all of that stuff. You got to get into it. And it's people paying for all those things. We even have a bowling team. I'm just like, you guys can get scholarships for these things to go to college and everything. We're also going to get some aviation simulators. These will give the boys actual flight time. Where they'll be able to go to, if they want to go to flight school, these hours from the aviation simulators will actually transfer to flight school. So they'll be able to use some of those hours they got at our school to go to flight school if they decided they want to become a pilot. But we have a few things that we'll be doing. We'll also be having some farmland. We'll be growing our own food to feed the boys, as well as some people in our community who want to start our own market at the school for people to be able to come to shop for fresh produce. We'll also have our own livestock. To be able to sell like fresh organic eggs and our own milk, etc. At our school. We'll be having some farmland that one of our farms will be allowing us to use. They'll be allowing us to use 4 acres of their land to be able to grow our own food there. And every day the boys will wake up at 6 o'clock to 7:30. They'll work out every day except for Sundays. I do believe obesity is a big problem, and our boys are very unhealthy. They can't run a mile anymore, etc. Because we're becoming very soft. But at our school, they will be working out every day except for Sundays, whether that be light working out or clanging and banging. But we'll be making sure, they'll be doing some working out at least every day except for Sundays, because that's religious instruction. But this will be a boarding school. We will begin instruction in the fall. However, the boarding school portion won't open until next year, because we do have to get the necessary licensing, get their sleeping quarters ready, etc. So that will take us about a year. But instruction will open in the fall time. But that's kind of an idea of what we'll be doing, and we'll be having more information come about as long as you follow us on our X for Boys website and subscribe to our newsletters.
Perfect. X for Boys, thexforboys.org. You need to get on there and check it out and follow this young man. What's your social media handle so they can follow you on social media as well?
Absolutely. All of my social media handles are New Emerging King. Every last social media handle, and that's on the website too. You just go down there and click Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and it'll take you right to my social media links. But all of them are New Emerging King. And if you can't find it from there, just go on Google and type King Randall, and you'll see me pop up right at the top.
So go and follow this young man so y'all can keep an eye on what's going on, and you can be as much of a part of it as you can. I tell you what, man, I haven't seen anything like this. I haven't heard anybody with the heart that you have for these young men. I mean, you're doing things that I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at you, a 21-year-old man, doing things that I'm like, man, I want to start a school. I mean, I want a school for children. I want to be able to bless them, and you're doing that. And so that's why I want to help you. And people are rolling these donations in. They finna make me broke in a minute. But I think it's well deserving, man. And we
appreciate everybody.
We can talk more about it. And thank you guys for all the donations. I mean, you guys are approaching a pretty significant number. And I'll tell you guys in a minute, because I can see exactly what the number is. But y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. We need to have this stream become more popular, because I think everybody needs to hear what this young man is saying for multiple reasons. One reason is so you can know what he's doing and you can support. And another reason is so some of y'all who want to do the same thing, who have aspirations to go out and do instead of talking, this should be an inspiration to you. So you have the school, you have the buses, you already talked about how, you know, you got about a year before it can be fully functional and open, but instruction will start. Somebody super chatted and said, how are you choosing the teachers? Because obviously you're going to have teachers that are teaching certain subject matter or whatever the case may be, even PE teachers, I'm assuming, unless you do it yourself, but you're going to need teachers. So how are you going through the process of hiring teachers? And just explain that just a little bit.
Absolutely. So one thing I love and I love to talk about is our school system where I live is in full support of what we're trying to do for our young men, especially since their alternative school here, they just moved it, and they'd actually been looking to open an all boys location, but people were giving them a little backlash for it. But now I'm opening that. So our school system has been a partner of ours for a long time. They'd allow our children to do field trips with excuses, etc. What's going to happen is our school system is actually going to help provide us teachers and pay them at our school to teach our curriculum. So our school system will be providing the teachers for us, and those teachers that actually want to come teach at our school will just apply through our school system, and they will still send them to our school as long as we let them know they came for us. So our school system is in full support of what we're trying to do. I bought my own school bus for the school, but when I was talking to the school system, they were just like, we'll provide buses for whatever you need for the kids, field trips, etc. They was like, we want this to work. They was just like, you know, we want this to have as much credibility for our city because they know, everybody knows that we need it. Most of our city supports what we're doing because of, you know, the noise we're making and the actual change that we're making with the children where we live. So that's kind of, you know, a beautiful thing. I definitely love that our school system is in support because I told them before, I didn't want this to be a versus thing. You know, I wanted this to be like us partnering with each other. I didn't want it to be like our school versus y'all school. No, I want it to be something where we work together and show that we can have some unity in our city, regardless of if we're two different systems or not. They want to help us because they have the resources, and they're just like, we want to make sure you're able to utilize our resources. And these are children that we serve too, you know, so I'm definitely appreciative of them working with us, and that makes our load a lot easier. So we don't have to pay teachers. They'll be paying teachers for us. But all their graduation requirements, etc., will come through us. They will not be able to graduate if they do not pass our certain training. We do have physical training that the boys will be doing to graduate. They will not graduate our school. They cannot pass basic warrior training. Basic warrior training is basically what they'll be doing the entire time they're at the school. They'll be learning wilderness survival training the entire time. And while they're learning that training, they'll be taught things like how to make a fire, how to fish without a fishing pole, how to go, you know, kill an animal, skin it, whatever you got to do for food, find water, how do you make somewhere to sleep, etc. All these things out in the wild. And so what's going to happen is groups of 20 boys at a time for their graduation requirement, they will get dropped off at a remote location that will be monitored for 7 days. It will be 7 days. You will get one instructor. He'll come out there with them, but he will not say a word to them. They have to go find food. They have to go find water. They have to figure out how they're going to survive for 7 days with each other. They have to pass that test. If they don't, they will not graduate from our school. But that's manhood training. That's what I believe becoming a man is. That's how you join a fraternity, not none of this spanking people and all of that goodness. That's how you become a man. I definitely believe that'll be something that they could be proud of and stick their chest out about when they do graduate from our school. And of course, our graduation won't be like an actual graduation. It won't be cap and gown of being full suits doing that thing.
Man, I dude, it sounds too good to be true. I'm like, I wish I go to that school. But you know what I wanted to do, and let me say this because I think everybody need to hear this. I felt like, and I'm not acting like God came down on a cloud and said, Brandon, you know, interview this young man. When I saw of what you were doing when Jalen sent me your info, when we tried to get you on Laura Ingraham and stuff like that, when I looked into what you were doing, I just felt like I really want to support you. And when I saw you go off on Roland Martin's show, no disrespect to him, I'll disrespect him on another thing, but this is we gonna keep it kosher here. When you were on Roland Martin and you were saying those things, I said, you know what, I think it's time for me to really help out. And you know, there's a lot of people are afraid to trust people because, you know, you support people and then they go and do something crazy. However, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is at, and I'm going to put my energy behind what I support. So I want to make it a point to make sure that if all possible, I can help you accomplish these things, because you are saying a lot of things that are mind blowing. Why are people not doing this already? Which I don't think many people are doing this, but I want to make sure that I help you and that people who are supporting you can help you reach these goals. Because a lot of times what happens is people may, have ambitions and there's roadblocks that may come about. And then people turn on you and say, oh, we gave you money, but you didn't do what we said. No.
Right.
I want to help you. Whatever I need to do, and this is one part of what I want to do to help you, whatever I need to do to help you actually get these things done, because this should be a system mimic across the United States of America. Because even the warrior part at the warrior training graduation, we are living in a generation
that don't even know how to
the
change
softest men that I have ever heard of in my life. They don't even do PE no more in school, and that was weak. So I believe in the training that you had mentioned, because I think what you said is a better solution than I had, because I feel like every person should go into the military or serve. But I think that you give them that opportunity to focus on teamwork and build, so they don't have to do it in a crash course in the military. They can already come with those principles. So people, what part of Georgia are you in? It's Albany, Georgia. Am I saying that right?
So you say Albany for the capital of New York. See, we from South Georgia. We say Albany. That's how we say
Albany. So Albany. Where's that located in Georgia? What is that close to Atlanta?
It's Southwest Georgia. We're about 2.5 hours south of Atlanta. We're close to the Florida Georgia line.
So y'all close to Florida Georgia line. Okay.
We're about an hour and a half away from Tallahassee.
Perfect. And that's a majority. That's a majority black area. City.
74% black people.
And your admissions are anybody that lived there, right? Or is it
it's anybody. It's just most people, like some of our pictures, you'll see some other races of children like in our book club, but mostly you're gonna see an influx of black children, just because that's just where we live.
Perfect, man. I can't say this enough, and the people are speaking, and that they really support you. I'm finna have to dish out a lot of money here.
I definitely appreciate all the support. Seriously, absolutely.
Which is what I believe that God has called for us to do. When I saw you on that show, I felt like the man was trying to put you down to a certain degree and wanted to one up you and say, I got you, instead of saying, how can I help you? Like, how can I be a part of that? So I want to talk a little bit about that. Not the show, but the concept that was brought out.
Absolutely.
You mentioned in that show that do for self was your mantra. And I think you need to have a shirt that says do for self. Do you have that shirt on your website?
Nope, but I'll make one.
You need to make a do for shirt. I want the shirt, but I'm gonna let you do it because that's your slogan.
All our young
do for self was something that you brought up in that interview. Obviously, it was a little pushback from the host, and there's a lot of pushback from people who fall on more of the leftist type of black folks. Do you get a lot of pushback for just coming out and saying, I think we should do for ourselves and stop waiting on the government, waiting on politicians, waiting on somebody to hand us something? Do you get pushback when you say those things?
You know what, Brother Brandon? Honestly, I think it was just pushback at that time from our Brother Roland's viewers at the moment. But if you look at all the people that shared that video that I made with Brother Roland, it was all types of people that were in agreement. I'm talking about the extreme pro-black people, extreme right-wing white people. I mean, it was everybody like behind it. Even Rihanna reached out to me and was like, I want to come to the school. So I was just like, well, I'll see you an invite the moment, we're ready to open up. But so many celebrities reached out. Layla Ali, Malcolm X's daughter shared it. I mean, literally, it was all types of people. It was a lot of left-wing Democrats that shared it, a lot of right-wing, because you couldn't disagree with the message. I'm just like, I can vote, sure. I'm like, but nothing's going to change in our community unless we change it ourselves. And that's what my message has been the entire time I've been, with this organization. It's just we have to fix our own communities. And most people that do give pushback are always just trying to have a snapback answer, like, oh, you trying to say lift us up ourselves up by our own bootstraps, and you're trying to say, you know, we're gonna act like stuff ain't happening to us. Listen, okay, if I knew I grew up in poverty, I know I have 2 or 3 extra steps to take. Let me prepare myself to take those 2 or 3 extra steps. Like, I'm just like, you gotta make do with the cards you was dealt. I understand some things have been in play to hold you down. I understand some things have been in play to mess you up. But you gotta keep it moving. You gotta figure out, what can I do to get out of this box? You know, not just stay in the box and you know, wallow in your own crap. You gotta get out of the box, you know. So I'm just like, that's my thing. We gotta move forward. We gotta push ourselves. We gotta think about things we can do to get out of that box. And so I believe, honestly, that I was placed here to move a mountain and show other people that it could actually be moved. I'm just like, we can move this mountain, you know. So I believe me being young and now me being an inspiration to so many people and showing these young boys that they can go do whatever it is that they want. You can't tell them boys they can't do nothing now, man. They feel like they can go walk to the moon, but that's what it's supposed to be like, you know. And I always tell people all the time, if you think I'm so great at 21, you know, my boys are gonna be unstoppable. But yeah, I don't really just get pushback per se from that group. It's just they be so ready to look for a clap back. Roland Martin didn't vet me before I came on the show. He didn't know who I was.
Right.
He brought me on the show and thought I was about to get some theory. No, I gave you work that has already been done. And so he and, you know, a few other people keep talking about stuff and I don't respond to them because all you see on my social media is work. That's all I do. All you guys do is run your mouth, which is why you lost so many viewers, etc. because I actually do work. If people come to my page and all they see is work that I've done for the past 2 years, I don't get on there and run my mouth about things that we should be doing for our communities. I just go out there and do it. I don't fuss about what other people should be doing. I don't fuss about what other people haven't done. I just focus on the things that I can do, you know, for our community. And that's why I feel like, you know, all of us can succeed. And that's why I feel like our program is unifying so many people, because if people go look at my following, look at the comments, etc. It's so many different types of people. I even mentioned it on my comments. One day when I was on the Instagram live, I said, look at all y'all in my comments right now. I said, you got these RBG flags and the Confederate flags and the Trumpers and the Unks and the Hoteps and all that. I said, all of you are unified under one cause right now, and that's doing for your communities. So if we all could do that, regardless of watching these TVs and making us split, you know, because of political ideologies, etc. If we just simply all decide we want to go do something positive in our communities to help, we could all be on one accord. Because we honestly don't disagree with that much if I say do for self and all of you guys agree. So that's kind of where I stand with that. But that just is what it is. You got to do for self, man. Reason why we these boys, like I said, these boys don't want to be in their conditions. You know, I don't even have to tell them some things. You know, I don't have to tell them not to sag their pants. I raise their minds and their pants will follow. I raise their minds, their grades will follow. I raise their minds, everything else follow. So you just have to be that living example, not sitting there telling them about how their lifestyle is. Or like Andre 3000 said, he said, how are you going to tell a young man selling his him, you're not offering new ways to win? So we got to offer them new ways to win in our communities. And I believe, again, we are only going to fix our communities if we fix them ourselves. I mean, sure, we can get things from politicians. Sure, we can, you know, get some type of, you know, help from the government or whatever. I ain't saying don't take it. But what I'm saying is don't rely on that. Don't hold yourself there. Don't, oh, I'm waiting on this. I'm waiting on that. I'm expecting this. I'm expecting that. Sure, I'll get it if they give it, but I'm not waiting on that. I got stuff I need to do in my communities now. So that's kind of where I am. I believe we can all do that in our communities and make things happen.
Well, man, I can't say enough. I don't have any words to describe how incredibly blessed you are and how, you know, you inspire me, man. You know, I'm much older than you. I got millions of subscribers and I do a lot of stuff, you know, but you inspire me, man. And I really pray, man. And you're a Christian, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. Or you're a believer or whatever. I don't know. People use different terms. But you're a believer, man. You're a Christian, and I want to pray at the end of this live stream, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Because I really want you to win, bro. I really want you to do all these things that you say. I really want them to come true. And people are, you know, let me say this, just so people know, just so y'all are transparent. People have super chatted $3,300 so far, and I think that YouTube has a cut that they take out or whatever, but what is showing me right now is $3,300 have been donated. I said I will match it. So I want to, this is what I want to do. I want to be able to donate $10,000 to you total. I want to be able to do that. So I matched it. I said I'm going to match it. Then we're at $6,600 right now that I'm going to donate to you as soon as we get off of this live stream. But if you guys keep supporting and we get that number up, whatever you put on here, I'm gonna match it. And I just think that this is what we should do for each other, because you are an incredible young man. You are doing the work that I could only dream about doing. I could only dream about thinking this about somebody doing it when I was 21.
Thank you.
Now it's an inspiration, and I want you to do well
And
for
y'all
these kids. I
40-something,
want you
50-something, about to
to
be
be the
60.
light in the dark place
Y'all can't
in
even get
Georgia,
together and
because
do
these
a
young men
church,
need to see an
a
example of
daggone
hope.
church, a
They
daggone
don't need to just hear people talk about it. They need to see it. They need to
community
feel it. They need to, it needs to be embodied. Like it needs to be educated.
Thank you.
Because our young
Y'all
men
can't even
are
do it
being
for church folk.
they're being killed,
And
man.
you
I
got
mean, and it's
kids.
spiritually. They're teaching them to be soft. They're teaching them to be women. They're teaching them to not be responsible for their actions. They're teaching them to be dope boys. I mean, if you don't do it, the music will do it. If you don't do it, the homie in the hood or somebody that seems to be popular, even some of these music artists and celebrities, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
However, this be one of the biggest movements that we've seen in our lifetime. That's what I want this to be. The X for Boys. I have my own, nonprofit that I started in the middle of the night one night, and it's called In the End We Win. But I want you to win, man. And I want these boys to win.
Absolutely.
And that's why, I'm going to match this. And that's why I brought you on. I just love what you're doing. And I think we have to unite. Understand this. I don't think that you and I agree with everything.
That ain't nobody.
If we agree with everything, then it's somebody in this is fake. You know what I'm saying? Somebody faking it.
Absolutely.
But what we do agree with is that there needs to be more of a strong male presence in our society. Young men need to know what it means to be a man. They need to know how to fight. They need to know how to shoot. They need to know about the Second Amendment. They need to know about freedoms. They need to know about hard work, dedication, perseverance. They need to understand that if they get in a situation like you were when you were just a young kid, that you don't have to live being a victim. You can be a victor. You better fight. Nobody's gonna hand you nothing. Pull yourself up by your bootstrap is a real theory. And don't cry about the theory. Don't try to make excuses why the theory can't be true.
Just gotta make it work.
Get up and do it. And I get passionate, man, because you're saying these things. I say these things. We say it in a different way. Sometimes I can be very extreme. People get in their feelings about it. But I really want us to grow. I really want us to grow, and especially young black men. And the reason I say that is because all the white, not all of them, but a majority of the white young men that I know and that I see at the universities and whatever, they are getting some of this already. Growing up, we didn't have none of this.
Right.
When I was growing up, and nobody's gonna teach you about wearing your pants around your waist.
Right.
Nobody's gonna elevate your thinking. Nobody's gonna tell you that you are the arbiter of your outcomes. Nobody's gonna tell you that. They didn't tell us that. They told us that the white man was looking. We got one eye open at night, looking to get us, and that you got to work 3 times as hard because you're black, not because you want to be excellent, but because you're black. And so I'm not gonna keep talking too much because you're my guest. I want you to say enough. So I promise that it will just be an hour. So we got 5 minutes. I do want to bring you back because I want you to come back and tell us what's going on. And
Absolutely.
I want to go to Georgia and I want to see this school. I want to be a part of this. So and whatever you need me to do. I don't want to
we'll have an actual banquet before opening for like all the people who donated. I'll try to get as many invites as I can to those people that I can fit in the cafeteria area for a big banquet. Just for that evening to kind of thank everybody, let people come look at the school, what we've done so far, etc. So we'll invite all those people. I will have a surprise celebrity guest that I'll be inviting to that banquet as well, because I do believe she's really excited about what we're doing. I was going to bring her before we were finished, but I want to make sure she gets to see the finished product. So you'll definitely get to come. I'm also working on another project now that's going to blow y'all minds again. I don't know how I'm doing it, but I can't talk. I'll tell you about it offline. But you definitely going to be mind blown. I'll show you what it is. But
Bro,
it's another addition to what we're trying to, help the boys do and become. So I'll definitely let you know about that. But yeah, I definitely would love for you to come down and look at the school and see what's going on.
Yeah. So I mean, do y'all have gyms, and you know how you have sponsorships where somebody donate X amount to a gym, it could be named after that person's organization or whatever. We'll talk offline because I really want to bless you, man, and I think that a lot of people want to bless you the more you get out there. So tell my audience, because we only have a little bit of time left. People have donated $4,200 so far. So I have to match that. That'll be what, $8,400. If you guys get the $5,000, I'll donate 10 total, because I'll match it. I'll do 10 total. If you guys get to that number before we get off of this thing, we got 3 minutes to go. And thank you all. Thank you all for the support. I mean, you guys have been incredible. I've never really done this. I've never really done something like this that inspires so many people to donate so much. I mean, I've never had people so enthusiastic, and I think that means a lot. But where can they find you? What's your social media, or how can they find you? How can people support you even offline? Let the audience know what they can do.
Absolutely. Like I said, you can go to the website. That's thexforboys.org. That's THE, the letter X, FORBOYS.org. It's right there. Just put .org behind it. And there you can see how to donate. Also got that PO box information there. Shows you the many different ways you can donate. Also, it has all of our pictures, videos, everything that we've done. It's all on the website. And also all of my social media tags are New Emerging King. That's every last social media that I have: Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Any little thing you can try to find me on is going to be New Emerging King. If you can't find that on the website, the last bet is just type King Randall in Google, and you should find me right there at the top.
Awesome, man. You're such an incredible blessing.
I appreciate you so much.
People are getting close, man. We're only $400 away from $5,000. Y'all don't make me go broke tonight. I mean, come on, man. So
oh my goodness, this is beautiful.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait until we get to that magic number, because we're pretty close, man. People are really donating. And the funny thing is, and I'm telling you, and I'm gonna be transparent, man, I would love to have $5,000 in my pocket tonight. I would love to have it in my pocket. But I believe in blessing other people, man. Like God will bless those who bless other people. And
absolutely.
I pray that all of you guys who are donating, I pray that all of you guys have an incredible blessing, because you are part of the success of this young man and the things that he's done. Also, and just so you know, my audience raised over almost $300,000 for a young lady that got shot and killed in Atlanta, Sakaria Turner. We raised.
I remember her. She got shot in the protest, correctly? That's correct.
Yeah, they were in a protest. Mom approached the protest, was going to turn around. Two dudes got in the shootout, and they ended up hitting her daughter. And so
that happens so much in our communities. So much.
Yeah. So we donated to her. We donated over $130,000 to start Maddenly last year. I think in total we donated well over $200,000 to police officers last year. So we are a supportive, giving channel, and because there's so many of us, thousands of us, I mean, giving a little bit to go a long way. So I'm gonna say a quick prayer, man, if you don't mind. I'm gonna say a prayer. And y'all can keep supporting. They didn't make me. Look, they didn't make me. I'm over 10,000 right now. So I'm gonna have to donate $10,000 to you. You just gotta let me know. You're a 501c3?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Good. Okay, so y'all just keep donating. I'm going to somebody said they got wheels turned for. I'm gonna go ahead and say a quick prayer. All right. So if you will, man, join me in prayer. Y'all join me in prayer. You can keep donating whatever God put on your heart. So Lord, thank you for waking us up for another day, a new opportunity, a new avenue to bless your name. God, we pray right now in the name of Jesus that you bless this young man, King Randall, bless his children, the ones who are biologically his, and also the ones he's adopted and engrafted into his family. God, I pray that you bless all of the things that this young man is striving to do. God, give him the resources, give him the people, keep him the course, keep him motivated, keep him inspired, keep him alive. And God, I know that you can do these things. And I pray right now in the name of Jesus that you protect this young man, you protect the vision. And I pray, God, that you put it in a position where you get the glory at the end of all of this. God, I pray for all those who have donated, who supported. I pray, God, that you bless them immensely. And I just pray, God, for our country. I pray that you uplift and raise up more men in these last days to do incredible work. And so, God, we love you. We praise you, we worship you, and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, brother. They mess around.
Absolutely.
They mess around. They finna do 12 grand. All right, you know, y'all just going. They're 5,700 right now. People are still coming in. But if you guys are just joining in, you join in late. You got to go back and watch the video. King Randall is a young man who's all you got to do is watch this video over if you're just jumping in. A young man who's enthusiastic, who God has, in my personal opinion, raised up in these last days to challenge and encourage young men to be the best versions of themselves. And so I'll end it with that, man. Do you have anything, last things that you want to say, King?
Absolutely. I in every show I go on, big or small, with the same quote. It's from one of our favorite rappers here in Albany, Georgia, one of our local rappers. His name is Cantrell. He says, obstacles are optical illusions. They're not really there. Jump high anyway. Jump high just in case.
Amen. Amen, brother. I appreciate it. So they're at $5,800. $5,800. I think I'm saying that right. Yeah. And so we'll talk. We'll talk offline, and I'll get it to you. So it looks like we're gonna hit 6. So just if we don't get to 6 by the time I cut this thing off, I'm going with 6, and we're gonna go to 12. It hit 6 right now that I saw it. So God bless y'all. King, stay on here. Don't go off.
Yes, sir. I got you.
We'll talk afterwards. God bless y'all for all the donations. I really
Definitely appreciate you.
Y'all doing great work, and I'm gonna keep you posted. I'm gonna bring them back when big milestones come. If you're okay with it, man, I would love for you to come back and tell people
absolutely
what you have done and how you have done a lot for this young boy. So I love you guys. Next week we'll have another interview. I'll let you know who the guest. Every Tuesday I want to interview somebody who I think is special, who's doing great work that you guys will love to hear from. Every Tuesday, 6:30, I'll have a new interview. This Thursday, every Tuesday. This Thursday is normally the group show where we bring people on the panel. King, I'm gonna have you involved in that as well if you're available. At some point we'll graft you in. But I'm gonna have to cancel it this Thursday because I'm gonna be in 4 states in 5 days, traveling and speaking. So we'll cancel it this Thursday. Catch us back next week. I love you guys. I appreciate all the support. Y'all can also go to King's website at thexforboys.org. You can go there if you want to donate outside of this when the video is over. And also show your boy some love on the Officer Tatum store. Show your boy some love. Put in men, you'll get a discount. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make a discount real quick for y'all who are on here for all y'all support.
You kissed him. All right, so like, follow, share, and subscribe to your boy. Let's get it. All right, so I appreciate everybody for joining. And we signing out. We logging out. But I appreciate everybody for joining. You received the information. And I'll see you on the next one. Let's get it.